Hi, I'm Steve, the Silver Dasher. I was a senior software engineer until I lost my job in 2024. And then after searching for over a year for a new job, and then being over 60, I decided to retire. I'm going to now try a new career in the gig economy. So, here I am trying to learn how to be a delivery driver from scratch. And I want to invite you to come along on the journey. Welcome.
The Silver Dasher.
Well, welcome to a special edition of the Silver Dasher. I'm going to briefly show how I clean my car. Well, not the entire thing, but just show you the equipment I got and the steps quick steps, and to show you why I go through what I do. So let's show what I got. Well, first of all, down here, I just got a cheapo wet dry vac smallest from Walmart. And the newest addition is I bought this from Amazon. Is you've probably seen this in the car wash, and these little adapters, you know, to clean the carpets and all that. You know, I was trying to use these other attachments. They don't work out very well, so I'm going to try this for the first time. And then I mentioned before, I went to Harbor Freight and bought this pressure washer. This is not their cheapest one, but it's the one next up there. The cheaper one has the hose on a roll, and that, from my understanding, that didn't work out too well if you're trying to use it. So it's just, the hoses are just hanging on the side there. Well, that's electrical, and this is the pressure washer hose. But it comes with these tips, and what really comes with it comes with this this tip to help, you know, clean the driveway. But the main tip that I use is this yellow one right here. To get the car wet, and then to spray off the soap afterwards. So, and the reason I do this because it's quick. And, you know, I can wet down the car and rinse the car pretty quickly. And then this is the other attachment. Now this is the attachment I bought. Now that hose, that handle right there, that's original to the pressure washer. But I bought the special. I bought this hose because it doesn't kink, and I bought this handle right here because it was easy to use and quick, easier to move things on, and it's easier to handle instead of that long stick. But I moved the long stick to this attachment, and this is the attachment that I mentioned that I use to roll underneath the car. And as you can see, you know, in my market, you know, I don't do DoorDash in a city or a major town. A lot of my deliveries out on the rural, and a lot of the rolls is just dirt roads, gravel roads, and as you can see, the mud splatters come in here, and so all that stuff is eventually going to get caked on underneath. So when the change in weather, especially in the wintertime and all that, and we're going to have heavy rains, you know, this stuff is going to cake underneath the car. So I bought that to help clean that off, because I'm not going to spend 25 bucks for a car wash to attempt to spray it underneath, and it's not going to really do anything. That's another reason why I hand wash my car. I don't want to spend 25 bucks, or even the cheap version of, you know, 8 bucks, whatever, just to rinse down, you know, because that adds into your profits. And so I took everything out, and as you can see more of the mud stuff on here. But yeah, just anything to keep the car clean. I did add WeatherTech floor mats to the car because of the same reason. If I'm not going to be out walking in dirt, gravel, mud, as you see, I got the stuff, I'm just going to be, you know, make sure I get this cleaned up. So anyway, let's go ahead and try out this this new attachment, see how it works. Well, that works pretty good. There comes the true test. Not bad, not bad. That worked out a bit better than I thought it would. But anyway, I think this was like $5. It's just cheap plastic, and it's easy, but you just shove it in there, and it comes with an adapter here to fit on the bigger wetback hoses. So anyway, cool. Well, let's go on to the next step. Well, here I am at my next step. Gotta sit down for a little bit and drink. I gotta do this every once in a while, you know, because I'm old. I'm not as young as I used to be, and it's still pretty. It's pretty warm right now. So, you know, when I do this, I pace myself. But yeah, the next step I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to close everything up, and then I'm going to attach the huge wand and pressure wash underneath the car. So that's the next thing we'll do. See you in a little bit. So some other ports and pieces of equipment I use. Of course, I've got a bucket. It's got a grate there on the bottom to catch any dirt. So you know, when you put your wash mitt or sponge in there, you're not grabbing the dirt from the water back down there. And I got a ladder because I need to be able to reach the top of the car. So sitting here and filling up the bucket, and right next to that little apparatus, that's my foamer. That's the soap that I use. I'm going to fill up that container full of soap, and then after I wet down the car, I'll attach that and just sud the whole car top to bottom all the way around. And once that's done, then I go use the mitt to wash each part down. And once that's done, then we rinse it off. So anyway, I'm going to continue this, and I'm going to attach the sprayer to go spray underneath the car. See you in a little bit. Okay, I got everything hooked up. Pressure washer is turned on. Once I pull the trigger, it's going to start putting pressure on the water. Yeah. That's basically what I do. I just roll it underneath it, and I just work my way around the car. So that's what I do. Do the underneath the car, and then once I'm finished with under the car, then I'll replace the other nozzle back on, and then I start nozzling out the wheel wells. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, now I switched to my handle here, and I got the yellow tip. Oh, one bit of advice: to make sure you test pointing your tip down to make sure it's secure, because I did it one time and I didn't have it secured. I sit and it shot it a mile away. I'm lucky to find it. So anyway, now with this, we're going to rinse off the car, but part of rinsing the car is I'm going to get in these wheel wells and knock off as much of this dirt as I can. Another thing, when you rinse the car, you don't want to get too close to your car, you'll peel the paint off. So I stand back a little bit, because basically what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get the car wet. This opportunity to get the wipers up. Another tidbit: when you get to the front of the car, don't aim your pressure hose directly like this into your grill, because you may damage the radiator. So you always want to wet your front end by pointing down like this. Okay. And you see, we just quickly got the car wet, and this with this pressure washer, it does two things. Well, of course, get the car wet, but you can at least get most of the dirt blown off the car and wet, so when you wash the car, it's not, you don't get so much dirt on the sponge. So anyhow, now we're going to go and attach the sudser. This is the fun part, so see you in a little bit. Well, now I got the foamer attached. It's just like a tip, you know, it's got a connection just like a tip, and it attaches it. So let's go ahead, and then you can adjust the flow and the mount. So let's go ahead and give it a try, see what happens. Well, there you go. I have to be quick because it uses the soap pretty quick, and I use it directly. Some says you dilute it and all that, but I find that if I just fill it up and just shoot it directly at 100% concentration, it suds it up. So now comes the hard part. Start cleaning it with a sponge and or washcloth. So see you in a little bit. Well, I washed it down from top to bottom, and now it's time to rinse. All right, car is rinsed off, and oop, missed a spot. All right, so they rinse another spot. Look at that. Okay, all right, on to the next step. Yep, I really like this step. You see your car is freshly clean, but we're gonna have to dry it. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna take a minute and drink my Gatorade. See you in a little bit. Now for drying, I use two different things. I use this big, huge terry cloth dryer, and I use the small one. And the small one I use them because I go through around the car, I open the door and open the hatches, and I wipe down inside to get all any dirt or whatever. Because many people don't do that, but my dad taught me, you know, you want to clean the inside, I have to keep that area clean, because what happens a lot of times, people don't go in there, and the dirt and grime gets in there and starts rusting out your the door joints and whatever, and that could be a real problem. So all right, so here we go. Start to dry. And this is what I meant by the inside on the edges. Open all the doors, you can see there's still little water spots inside. You just want to wipe it down along the edges here, along your doors like this, you know, some dirt in there, and this is to help protect, you know, the sides of the doors here, keep somewhat the dirt out of it. A lot of people don't do this, and this will help. You know, you don't want to get all the rust or this get caked, that type of thing, and eventually sometimes you want to add some grease or whatever the recommended lubricant for the door hinges here. But all this is to take care of the car and keep it for a long time, especially like me. I bought it used, and it's a year old, but it's used. But keep it nice and clean as much as possible. You get inside and dry all this up and get as much of the dirt that you didn't get. There's a lot of stuff in here. And also do this, you know, the gas cap here. you know, the inside of this. You know, it gets all kinds of crud and dirt, especially, you know, spilled gas and that type of thing. You just want to keep the inside of this right here clean as best as possible. And now if you have a hatchback, same thing here. You know, you get, oh, look at dead bug. Get the inside of this, you know, all this, keep it clean and dry. So this is the type of stuff I do every time I wash the car. I do this on every car, and even if I go like through a car wash, I go in there and grab the towels that they got and open up all the doors and just wipe down everything I got here and keep the dirt out as much as possible. It's just you know, the car is your investment. If you're DoorDashing, that's the number one thing. If you don't have to take care of the car, you can't DoorDash. And especially if you have a car that's, you know, you pay it off and all that, you want to maintain it and all that. But you need to do that for any car that you drive. Now, if your car is nice, pristine, or nice, you know, set up like I got, it don't matter. You know, get the inside clean, keep the outside clean, because any little thing that you do to help preserve your car in the long run, it's worth it. I don't care if your car's beat up. You know, I've had cars in the past where you know, it was beat up, but it had paint chips. You know, you notice I got some paint chips on that side. I go just buy you go to auto parts store and find the appropriate color or very close to it, and just put paint, you know, paint the little paint chips, and that's to prevent rust. And that's the number one killer for a car, is rust for a body. Of course, down here in the south, we don't have to worry much about salt on the roads, because they don't do that here in the south, because frankly we don't have that extreme weather. Every once in 10 years we do, but states down here don't have the budgets to maintain equipment that would use only once every 10 years. What they do put out is a lot of sand. That's about the only thing they got. But now if you live up north, you know, that sprayer that sprays the underbody, that is definitely what you need to get if you live up north, especially in the bigger cities up there, that in the states that, you know, can afford to put salt on the roads, because you want to definitely take, and every time you go through a snowstorm or rain, or especially a snowstorm, they use salt on the waters, you want to take and spray that salt off your car. When I was a kid, we used to live in Detroit, Michigan. My father was based on a small base in Detroit, Michigan, and he bought a brand new 1968 Chevy Impala, and it was a whale of a car, 4-door. But one of the things he did while we were up there, I don't know if they do this anymore, but they would put a rubber undercoat on the car, and basically it looks like it's like a, you know, the bed liner sprays that you do for pickup trucks. It's basically something like that, and it covered the bottom of the car. And if you had to do maintenance or anything like that, you had to remove that gunk. So anyway, car is nice and dry, the best I can. So on to the next step, put the car back in the garage. So, well, that's it. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the windshields with a glass cleaner, and she is ready for next week. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned some things. Like I said, you know, anybody, you know, knows how to wash a car, but I'm just showing how I recently changed it, especially with the first time I've, you know, bought a pressure washer. So anyway, we'll see you on the road. Talk to you later. Bye.